Hey, June 11th, Geoff Schwartz is smarter than you. We're back. We're live. We're in person, Matt, in Los Angeles. It is me, Geoff Schwartz, alongside Matt Ford. Matt, we got so much to get to, buddy. I'm glad to be here in Los Angeles with you. Lots to talk about.
I'm really glad to be here, Geoff. It's good to
Yeah?
see you. You're
Yeah,
back in
I know.
the city. You're just down the road from me.
My kids.
Undisclosed part of West LA.
I'm in West LA. My kids went out this morning to play at about 10 a.m. My son said, "This is what it feels like in Charlotte in the winter." So that explains the weather in Southern California in June. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a fan of it, or what's? Give me a June gloom
It's
take.
a tad chilly today.
Yeah.
It's better than like North Carolina right now, where it's 90 degrees plus humidity. But also, I do like the seasons part of life. Like you get a fall, you get a winter, you get a spring and summer. Here you just get the same temperature all the time. It's like they're going to the beach today. Like they're going to the pier today. It's going to be 72 and like overcast. That's not fun for the kids.
I mean, it sounds great. It sounds incredible, man.
That's why people live here.
We just live in that 20-degree variance, and that's it for the whole year.
That's why people live here.
Yeah.
For the weather.
Yeah, confirmed.
And to talk to you about sports.
Well, definitely that. Definitely that. Well, we have a lot to talk about today. It wouldn't be a show about football if we didn't have to lead with goddamn Aaron Rodgers.
Who?
Yeah, have you heard of him?
No.
He's a 40-year-old man with a torn Achilles who the Jets have entrusted to lead their franchise. Guess what? He didn't show up to minicamp. Is that such a surprise? Here was the reason. It was per the coach, Robert Saleh, unexcused absence, but the team was aware the quarterback wouldn't attend due to a previous engagement. Perhaps an RFK Jr. fundraiser, perhaps some other, like an Illuminati meeting, perhaps. What do you think the reason is here?
That was an easy joke to make. I have refrained from making jokes on this subject because it does feel like you could get burned if it was something like really important that he had to go to.
Don't worry, he has nothing important to do.
Which is very unlikely.
The Jets season.
But didn't he say in the past, right? The bullshit that has nothing to do with winning needs to get out of the building.
Right.
Why are you not there for mandatory minicamp? Like this is the one mandatory thing you have all offseason. And he's one of the players, by the way, that wants to eliminate like the whole offseason. He's like a big driving force in that. I don't know if he is in now, but he was in the last CBA. He came in like the 9th hour. Was like, let's change all this stuff because I don't want to have the offseason. You generally know when this date is for a year. I mean, you know when you're going to start up the next season. You know when your minicamp date's going to be. And unless, again, it could be something that we don't know that's supremely important to him. And maybe it's a wedding or I don't know. I thought in my head about like what could it be that's so important that he would know the mandatory minicamp was coming up and still miss it anyways. Because this is the week where everything culminates from the entire offseason program, right? Like you've built up to this weekend. Most of the time, if you have guys that have missed camp so far, offseason program, they come to minicamp. This is like the dress rehearsal for training camp, right? And to have your quarterback not there, who's coming off an injury, who didn't play with anyone last season, it's just not good for team morale. It's not good. It's not good for the idea that, that you're all in on minicamp. I'm trying to think of the reason. Like, what are the reasons why legitimate? Like, what would be the legitimate reasons why you would not show up to a mandatory thing at work?
There aren't any. There aren't, unless I was sick or if there was something like
he has no kids and no wife. Like no kids, no wife. Like
doesn't talk to his family.
Oh, I gotta go. A family member is in the hospital. This and that. But this is obviously something that's been planned out. Like they knew wasn't going to be here.
And they knew it would be a story too.
An event that is important to him. So I did not Google RFK rallies nearby. Is this like his meditation weekend or something? Meditation week?
I mean, is it possible that he's lying and he just isn't going and it's another reason to have Aaron Rodgers in the news?
Well, we're going to find out pretty fast, right? And we're going to know what he's at, whether he says it or someone leaks it out, especially those pictures of said event.
Right. I just think, I don't know, man. Like you said it, if you're fully committed to the team winning and that's your whole theory of like, we got to aim everything towards winning and remove all these distractions. Yeah. Then you have to walk the walk. And I just don't understand how he thinks that this is going to contribute to winning, unless there's something really serious going on in his life, in which case, burn this tape, please.
So here's why. Let me just explain why this is like a wasted time for the Jets. So here's a practice report from Rich Gemini from today. Ready? Practice had a different look and different feel without Aaron Rodgers. This is from his tweet.
It couldn't complete a pass.
There you go. Okay. Tyrod Taylor, Tyrod. We're going Tyrod.
I forgot that he signed with the Jets. Nice.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor.
He'll
he's a great he is he should be a starter in the NFL, but he's been a great backup for so many years.
Yeah.
Like his career is like what you would want if you're not being like the best quarterback of all time. Like it's a great career. Okay, nonetheless,
30th best quarterback probably.
Yeah, and he's going to have he'll have insurance and he'll have pension, all those great things. Okay, but things went sideways in the 11-on-11 period. So team versus team. This is again completely wasted practice for the Jets offense. Ready? Completion to Garrett Wilson, incomplete pass, fumble, incomplete pass, incomplete pass. Like that is a wasted session for the Jets' new offensive line, for all their weapons. It's just a wasted practice. Aaron Rodgers has wasted a practice for his team by doing whatever he had to do to not beat minicamp.
Wow.
Right? Like that's a waste.
Well
like,
said.
it's a waste.
Yeah.
You've wasted a day of practice. Now I understand you're a 40-year-old player. You've been through this before. Maybe you think in your head, I'll make up for it in training camp. Which again, there's a big break between now and training camp, right? Like in the grand scheme of it, is this important to be there? No, training camp's more important. But again, this is an opportunity to work with your entire team together in a minicamp setting when you have new offensive linemen and you didn't play last season.
Totally.
And there's it's just a wasted day for the Jets.
If Patrick Mahomes is there, why wouldn't Aaron Rodgers be there? Right?
Right.
Patrick Mahomes, same offense, won the Super Bowl. Everybody wouldn't blame him if he wasn't there, but he is actually about winning. So he showed up. That's what happens.
How do you feel about the take of C.J. Stroud saying if Matt Stafford was on the Packers?
I'm glad you brought this up. I had forgotten about
Matt
this.
Stafford was on the Packers instead of Aaron Rodgers, he would have more than one championship.
It's a great question. Why don't you go first?
My initial thought was, yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
But you think about it more like, I mean, the recent years that the Packers have lost was, the offense sputtered against the Niners in that cold game. I mean, is Stafford gonna? I'll tell you this. I think in some of those moments, Stafford's not going to force the ball to where Rodgers thought it should go. He'll take the open guy, but I'm not sure that guarantees they're going to win a Super Bowl. Like, to me, the initial thought was, Stroud makes a good point. His point was that Matthew Stafford, and I think this is true, and I certainly feel this way about the way I thought about Stafford's career. He is undervalued.
I agree. Totally.
He is a fantastic quarterback.
Yeah.
He finally got to a situation where he had a winning culture, and he won a Super Bowl in his second season there. Second season there? First season? Second season, I think.
Yeah.
COVID year was his first year, I think, and the next year, they won the next year.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He finally got to a winning culture and won immediately. And they continue. Last year's team, I think we might have had the under on the Rams last year.
No, I would love the over.
You love the over, okay.
Reason, because I'm a big Stafford
It's
guy.
like, you look at that team, and it's the youngest team in the NFL. It was in training camp. I'm not sure it left training camp the youngest. But like this super young team, and because the Packers ended up being the youngest on offense, right? I think that was, but super young team, a lot of draft picks, and they're still battling every week. It's because of Matt Stafford and Sean McVay.
100%. Yeah.
What's your take on the Stroud thing?
I thought it was really interesting that Stroud went and sort of waded into these waters. He's entering his little like media phase, which I kind of respect. Like,
I like his media phase more than
a lot of sound bites already.
I like his media phase more than Micah Parsons' media phase.
Yeah, well, I think that actually is who had the podcast. I think a thing about Stafford that is worth noting, as we talk about Rodgers, there's never drama on a Stafford team. There's never been an inch of drama in any single situation that I can remember. Detroit, he won it out in Detroit, which made
the drama
sense.
came from his family member that one time.
Right.
That was it.
Yes. Right. But on the field, like he is, I think as a leader, I think as like a culture guy, like that has to count for
He's
something.
also just a tough SOB.
Yeah, he is tough. He's tough. He's one of those guys that wants you to know how tough he is, which is like, maybe a little bit against him, but
most players want you to know that.
yeah. Like, it's funny. I actually showed someone the Ben Roethlisberger like ice pack gift the other day. They were talking about how they didn't feel well or whatever. And I was like, "This is you." And they were like, "This is a real thing."
I thought he did like a training camp practice, right?
It was like shoulder,
knee,
chest,
just like everything. His 20th year. Speaking about the Steelers,
Yeah, Mike Tomlin signs an extension. A little quiet, sort of out of nowhere.
what $20 million a year? What do you think? I mean, the coaches' salaries are not public.
Yeah, right. See what we know
do
about it.
you think he gets more than Andy Reid?
I don't know. I honestly don't know how to evaluate that question.
The Steelers are so fascinating to me because they're obviously competitive every season. I actually think this year, and I know Sharps are on the under 8.5 wins.
Yeah, enjoy that bet.
Yeah.
It's not going to cash.
Preview to our episode in August, I will push for the Steelers to go under 8.5. Matt will have to defend himself. Because eventually all things come to an end. But you pay for this is stability, right? Of like just every year you're in the competition to win a Super Bowl. You're in the hunt. You're in the playoffs. He's sort of been doomed by not having a succession plan post Ben Roethlisberger. But to be fair, a lot of teams don't. A lot of teams are in the situation where you lose your quarterback and you're just sort of wandering. Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, Justin. You're wandering in the field of trying to find another quarterback.
Sure.
But the guys just buy in, dude. Anyone you ever hear talk about Mike Tomlin, you could feel that buy-in.
Yeah.
And there's just value in just being competitive every season.
I mean, how many teams would trade their coach for Mike Tomlin? I think you could remove
or how many teams would trade for Mike Tomlin? Yeah.
Yeah. If they were offered the chance to trade their coach for Mike Tomlin, I think, you mentioned Reed, we talked about McVay. It's a short list, right? There's maybe 17, I
think you would. Well, actually, I'm kind of curious about that. Like, if you're like the Bills, you're trading McDermott for
100%.
So
right?
I'm thinking about the winning teams.
Zach Taylor.
You probably wouldn't. Yeah, you would trade. You would do that. You would keep Shanahan, I would imagine.
Right.
Keep McVay. Keep Andy Reid.
Yep.
What about like a Harbaugh?
Which one?
Chargers. Both.
Chargers, Harbaugh. Yeah, either. I think it's a conversation.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, would you rather have Mike McDaniel or would you have Mike Tomlin? It's like
Tomlin probably.
If you're putting that kind of guy, like
there was a story that Mike McDaniel. This is something that maybe we could put into our things we don't want to hear ever about again.
Good tease.
I am just so like anti-motivational person. Like I do not need that in my life.
Sure.
In fact, I wish no one would ever motivate me ever. I motivate myself. Most of that's like, as most people do, like I have a list on my phone of people like that doubt me in life, and just like you want to prove everyone
Billy
wrong.
Madison
right?
people to kill list.
Essentially, except I don't want to kill any of these people. Oh, just a few. But like,
am I on there?
There's a story. Hank is certainly on there.
Hank's on there. Okay, got
it. And Gabe's conspiracy side of his life. Yeah, that's on there too.
Sure.
Is that the story was Mike McDaniel has team meetings set around the 24-minute mark of an hour because they haven't won a playoff game in 24 years.
Yeah.
That is so like high school Harry coaching. Like it's such like now you remind everyone we haven't won in 24 years. Like why are we putting that out there? Why are we reminding our team every time we meet? Like we got to win 24 years. They're trying to win. You're trying to win anyways. Do you think players and coaches are not going to be like, guys, we got to try harder now? It's been 24 years. The answer is no. Like this is not a motivational thing that does anything except remind everyone of your failures.
Yeah. Well, I think this is like one of those things that non-athletes wonder about, where there's
People
a lot of
mystique
about the halftime speech and like,
play better football.
Right. Well, there's, and I wonder, is that like
a lot of players buy into it though. I'll tell you that because you see these colleges, man, these slogans they have in the locker room and what the coach comes up with each year. Oregon's one. They're right now is rooted in substance, right? Which makes sense, right? Like the roots of a tree, and you have a big team, and you want to all bind together to form a big tree. I mean, I get it. But myself, dude, I'm just not someone who is like ever feels the need. When they do those pregame huddles where like Ray Lewis would yell and scream and stuff. I'm in like the back. Like I'm like I mean
that works.
I'm just not. No, for a lot of players it works, but for me, I just don't buy into the whole like 24. Every meeting's got to be on the 24 because we haven't won in 24 years. Like, just you're trying to win anyways. It's not going to make you try extra hard.
I kind of love it.
You do?
Yeah, I love it, man. I think I look, whether it became a story or not, I don't know, but I think that the
what if the Maryland Terrapins basketball team was like, we haven't won a championship since 2000, so we're gonna. Is it 2000-ish?
2001.
Okay, so we're gonna start every meeting at the 23 minutes. You'd be like, that's kind of dumb, coach.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
When's the last time this studio here won an Emmy?
2015 was my last Emmy.
Okay, so you're gonna start You're gonna start every meeting nine minutes into the hour to remind everyone it's been 9 years since you won an Emmy.
Yeah, we should probably start to do that. It's been a little while. We might have some like synopsis awards in there somewhere, but yeah, since the Emmy, it's been about 9 years. Anyway,
why haven't we won an award? We need to put ourselves up for awards.
Yeah. Hey, if you're which one's my camera? This one's that's my camera.
We're in person.
Awards. Why don't we talk about the holdouts here. That was something, and then we can maybe
No, that's one of my my things I don't ever want to
So
hear
why
about
don't we
again.
start that?
Okay.
So we're gonna do a little segment today. It's June.
Yes.
It's June 11th. This is a tricky time of year for football because there's not a ton happening, and stories like Mike McDaniel's 24-minute meeting thing start to come up, and we're gonna play a little game called "Here's some things we don't want to hear about again this whole offseason." Why don't you start?
Minicamp holdouts.
Okay, so let's
So-
talk about this.
So the offseason program is voluntary for all of it except the minicamp. We talked about Aaron Rodgers not being there. And so the players have a tiny bit of leverage, and it's actually more like zero leverage, right? The leverage players have to get new contracts is sitting out regular season games. But if they do that, they lose money, right? And if you sit out too many of them, like Le'Veon Bell did that one year, you lose out on the opportunity to become a free agent quicker, right? Your years don't roll over, essentially. Excuse me, they would roll over. So sitting out a mandatory minicamp, you're getting fined. Like I think CeeDee Lamb is near $100,000, right? Teams used to be able to actually rescind the fine, Matt, but in the new CBA, they decided that they can't rescind fines anymore. So the leverage the players have is I'm not showing up. That tells the team I'm not happy. I want a new contract. And I get it. Maybe you don't want to get hurt. Maybe you don't want to be a distraction in the bill. You don't want to play to get paid. But they all show up in training camp. So like this is a storyline that like we've heard now for months that Brandon Ayuk wants a new contract, that Jamar Chase wants a new contract, that T. Higgins wants a new contract. Lamb wants a new. We've heard this for months. This is not new information. I do not care. Report on the things that actually happen at minicamp. This is not. These are all non-stories.
I think, okay, I will buy that. And anytime it's like, well, this person's going to lose $11,000 for not, I'm out. Like they're making this choice because they want the headline. I think what's really interesting about this, to not push back, but to bring it up, is this tipping point. We've talked about this before, the wide receiver market, where we got Justin Jefferson getting the huge contract, 4-year, 140. And now it's like, well, are you going to pay T. Higgins?
Well,
Like you can get, there were 6 guys in the draft who were probably better than T. Higgins already. Right?
Yeah, the wide receiver market is really fascinating because Justin Jefferson did not get a wide receiver deal. He got the highest non-paid quarterback.
Yeah.
So higher than Nick Bosa.
Right.
So it's like quarterbacks, and then he's next. So you look at CeeDee Lamb, you look at Higgins, even Jamar Chase. Like, are you paying these guys to be the next, basically highest paid non-quarterback? And the answer is no. Right? Like the only wide receiver I would look. These guys might get paid that money because that's the way this works. Like Tyreek Hill will be worth that money. He'd be worth that contract.
Yeah.
In my opinion, no other wide receivers worth that contract. And you brought up the point that I think is really important to talk about, is that we're seeing the wide receiver position in the draft in the last 4, 5, 6 years be the quickest to become good in the NFL.
Yeah.
And a wide variety of players. Like there are some linemen that become good as 5th round draft picks, right? But you typically aren't Puka Nacua in year 1.
Right. Yeah.
And we're finding this wide receiver market that I think teams are going to say, look, man, T. Higgins, buddy, we can find you in the draft. We're not paying you $40 million a year. Now I don't know what the next best deal is, like 25-ish. I think that's the highest wide receiver deal. I could see Lamb getting that and Jamar Chase getting that, and Brandon Ayuk I saw today was offered to $26 million a year. The Jefferson contract reminds me a little bit of what Deshaun Watson, what he did in the quarterback market, where no one negotiates off that deal anymore. They negotiate off the next deal that was done because no one's getting that money. It feels like in this deal with Jefferson, everyone's going to be like, yeah, we're not paying you that much. We're not paying you that much, CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott getting 50 a year and Lamb getting 40 a year is ridiculous. Would be backbreaking for that organization.
Yeah, as for
The Vikings
they want a thing.
The Vikings can do this because they're paying McCarthy $0.
Right.
Not zero. He's getting a lot of money, but relatively speaking to what Cousins was going to make.
I think it's really going to be interesting. The thing I feel like I talk about every offseason is like self-scouting. And to me, CeeDee Lamb, really good receiver, but it came down to like that unique offense where he was sort of like the only guy.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, no one figured out that they should cover him at any point. So he was always open. But I don't think, like Justin Jefferson, you can just throw the ball near him on 4th and 100, and he probably is going to catch it.
No, he's worth.
And Tyreek is similar, but
he's worth the money.
CeeDee and maybe Chase. I think Chase is right about there, and maybe Puka's going to be there. We'll see. But like I agree. Like I wouldn't pay CeeDee Lamb $40 million. No way. But it'll be really interesting to see because we haven't had this before where it's like the specialty guys are so awesome, but then the next tier just keeps growing. And like, there's a chance that, there were 4 or 5 receivers drafted in the first round. They're all going to be awesome. But McConkey might be the best guy because of his situation.
Well, the situation matters a lot for him.
And it's like, there's so many guys when you think about, like my guy, Terry McLaurin, unbelievable player. Is he like a top 20 receiver now? And it's like guys like that are T. Higgins is similar. It's like these guys are awesome. So it's hard to evaluate guys like Cortland Sutton's holding out in Denver. It's like, why? You suck, man. Like what are you, the top 50 receiver?
Yeah, it's not going to get paid.
Like good luck with that. Yeah. So it's going to be really. It's like you're going to be able to get cheap, really good guys, and then you're going to pay a boatload for the top.
Correct.
Guys.
All right. What's the thing you don't want to hear again about this offseason?
Oh man, there's a lot to pick from, Geoff. I'm going to start with Justin Fields.
Okay.
I'm done, guys. We're talking about a backup quarterback who was never, ever good in Chicago. The job is Russell Wilson's. It's been said. It's Russell Wilson's job.
I don't get.
Russell Wilson is going to be the starter in week 1, barring injury. And the Steelers will be the same exact team that they are every year, which is boring. 8.5 wins, about somewhere in there. And Justin Fields is going to be a backup quarterback. Why is everyone obsessed with this guy?
Dude, it's your draft slot, right? Like, and you know how it is in the media. Like Justin Fields seems like a good person, and I think the media likes him, and people root for good stories. And I think people root for a guy like Fields.
What's the story?
Well, look, the story is that
a
people
quarterback.
I agree with you. Is that the story is like basically the Bears didn't do enough for him, right? But my thing is like we still see quarterbacks that are good enough overcome that to the level where it's like, okay, we can rely on him. If we get pieces around him, we'll be good. That was never Fields. That was never. I don't think it'll be Fields. And I think that people want it so badly for him because they like him. They think that he was discarded by the Bears too soon, that they're rooting for him to be great. Even though, to your point, I made this point for months now, he's not going to play at least the first month of the season. Maybe Russell Wilson's bad enough, but Mike Tomlin to me doesn't strike me as like he's going to wait like 2 extra weeks after Wilson's bad enough to bench Wilson. And so, Fields is just he's not going to be a great NFL quarterback, and that's okay.
Yeah,
drafted high, it's not is what it is.
I'm buying low on Russ, as I've said before. Russ didn't give up 70 points to the Dolphins last year.
You're going to have to wager on the Steelers over with Russell Wilson as their quarterback. That's
fine.
Good for you.
Yeah, enjoy losing that bet.
We can debate this in August.
Yeah, we will. Why don't you give me another
one? Things we don't want to hear about again this offseason. Best shape of your life stories. Okay, so it's a pet peeve of mine when it comes to how athletes are covered and how athletes talk about this. Look,
I love this.
Lamar Jackson lost 10 pounds. Tua looks like a different person. That shot. And he's not taking Ozempic, but he looks really good, and so does Lamar. They look great. But like our job as an athlete in the offseason is to get our body in the best shape of our life. That's our job, Matt. That's our literal job. We're paid to take care of our bodies and to create the perfect body for training camp.
Yeah.
So to celebrate an athlete for doing their minimal part of their job, which is like, hey, work out 2 hours a day and eat well on your $40 million salary. Congratulate. Like, to me, that's like a non-story.
Yeah.
We should all be in our best shape of our lives. We congratulate athletes too much for doing that bare minimum part of their job.
Yeah. I agree with that. I completely agree with that, actually. And I think like
it has always bothered me. I've said this for years on social media. Like people will, when I'm like, I will never complain about having to work out. And like I see athletes like rise and grind in the offseason. Rise and grind for 2.5 hours of a workout, and then you just play Call of Duty the rest of your day. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
And get meal service sent to you. Like what are we doing here? So look, Lamar Jackson. It's actually worth kind of explaining. Like he lost 10 pounds.
Daniel size now.
I know, right? I don't. The reason was to get quicker. I'm pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand that one. Two, I get a little bit like, maybe you want to firm up a little bit.
He lives in South Beach, man. Like he's just got to get on the beach and get yoked.
But then you see Patrick Mahomes and you're like, and Tom Brady, you're like, why would you ever? Like Matt, we talk about Matt Stafford, or like what? Like those guys are not ripped. Like why would you ever want to be a ripped quarterback when those guys are just dad bodding it?
I don't know, man. They're doing something right.
All right, what are you doing?
I've got two more. You've got one more, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna add one.
Okay.
wacky Jim Harbaugh. I'm out. I get that he like lived in. I don't care. I don't care. Like he's been famous for so long, and all the reporters are like, he's back. He's living in a van and somewhere in the valley. I don't care.
What's crazy about this story too is like he's living in like a parking lot in Venice Beach. Like he's on the beach. I'm surprised like his trailer has not been jacked yet.
Yeah, that actually I am interested in hearing about.
I'm sure there's security.
I just don't like whatever, man. Like, cool, you're weird. Can you win a goddamn game? Like, are we already going to make excuses for him and Justin Herbert or what?
Does it feel any better to know that Greg Roman's also there?
Yeah, that's definitely going to help. All right, do this one.
No,
do it quick.
No, it's not even okay. It's not football related. The Caitlin Clark discourse. I'm just done with it. Like, I have watched the most WNBA I've ever watched in my life because of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
She's exciting. Now, it's a different game that she's playing in the WNBA than Iowa. I've also made a lot of money on her props. It gets a good team match, just take the under. It's a bad team, take the over. Like, that's just a pretty good philosophy for her points so far this season. And what's so interesting about the media's reaction to Caitlin Clark is that she herself seems to not care about any of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, now, I'm sure she says like, oh, I don't pay attention to social media. Of course she sees what the girls are, women, I should say, have said about her, tweet about her. Of course she sees that. But, she's smart. I don't see it. It don't bother me. The Team USA thing. Look, is she one of the 12 best players now? No. But that's not also always been a requirement to make an Olympic team, right?
Yeah.
Should she have made it because she's the most popular player and it would have brought eyeballs to the TVs and would have sold merch and all that stuff? Yeah, sure, I could buy that argument too. But like this debate over this is just tiring, dude. It's absolutely tiring.
Like it's their choice. I don't know.
And Caitlin Clark, like think about from her perspective, the amount of attention that she's gotten last year, like the summer might be nice for her to take just 3 weeks off while they're at the Olympics.
I hope she can, man.
Like I hope. So I just like, it's not even, we're talking about someone, Caitlin Clark, who is in, look, all this, by the way, is good for the WNBA. All this debate, good, bad, and different, dumb comments, smart comments, whatever. But it's getting exhausting. Like everything that happens to her, we have these like multi-day debates on social media over anything that happens. Because she's not bringing it on herself. Nothing she does is controversial at all, which is crazy because a lot of times we talk about these athletes, it's something they do themselves. None of this is ever about what actually she does. It's what people do to her, and like that foul, dude. It was a hard foul. It was a cheap foul. Like that's all it was. Yeah. Nothing more. Now, is there jealousy involved? Absolutely, because a lot of pro athletes, and I certainly have felt this way through my career, that when you come into the pro league, you have to earn sort of the attention you get. And Caitlin Clark has not earned that in the professional league. So I understand why maybe the players in the league feel a certain way about her. But there are times when players are so transcendent that they basically like there's, like that doesn't apply to them, right? Like LeBron James, that never applied to LeBron James. I'm not saying they're the same person and player, but like he was so transcendent that he gets attention immediately. Right. Caitlin Clark is so popular that you have to just deal with it. And also too, she's bringing to your game more viewers, more fans, more money. And she's just like a nice person. I don't know her at all, but she's not causing this controversy herself. And it just seems like the media is just wildfire, buddy.
Yeah. We're all missing the point a little bit, I think.
The point is what?
She's awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
We should enjoy it before we tear her down.
I'm with you.
We shouldn't accuse someone of not being online enough. Like everyone just needs to chill out. Like she's doing her best.
This is also what happens, by the way, when like the NBA Finals takes 12 days off between games.
Yeah.
And we get one game every 3 days.
Yeah, we just got to plant stories about Dan Hurley instead. That's what we have to do.
Was that a plant, you think?
Save it for after the show. I'm going to give you my last thing I don't want to talk anymore about. Any football team based in New York. I'm done. Well, not the Bills. So New Jersey. I'm done with I don't want to know a thing about the Giants or Jets anymore. I think the Giants, I think, are they make me sad. That's why I don't ever want to hear about them again. Like, what is going on with that team?
So, pull up the Giants roster. Just look on our last for Giants. I did say the other day because I was writing on it over.
The top hit when you Google Giants players is Darren Waller, who is retired.
Who's retired? Guys, Giants.
Is that good?
Sorry to bring this up to you. They are bad.
Really bad.
Like
really bad.
Like I looked at like impact players on their team. Left tackle. Okay.
Yep. Good player. Andrew Thomas.
Maybe Malik Neighbors.
Brian Burns
on defense. Kayvon Thibodeau possibly. And the list ends right there.
Dude, it's not good.
No, there are players like your Maryland kid, who the corner, right, from Maryland, who's there.
Yeah, Baker.
No, is that Baker there? I thought Jones. Maybe I'm getting confused. They have a rookie. They had a rookie last year corner for them.
Anymore, guys.
What?
I don't sleep anymore, so it's possible I have it. Deontay Banks, sorry.
Yeah, Banks, right? He's a Maryland kid, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They think he could be that guy eventually. But it's going second season. Their roster, Matt, is atrocious.
It's not good.
With a quarterback who is like at best 22nd in the NFL.
He is so bad. I just don't ever want to. The Jets, I'm already tired of. The Giants stink.
Oh,
they're going to be.
Hank brings up a good point. I want to bring it up. Dexter Lawrence, good football player too.
Dexter Lawrence, sure, great.
Thank you, Hank.
So excited. Yeah. That's great. Thank you. Good producing by Hank. Bad job by the Giants.
It's a good addition. Good addition.
No, I'm agreeing.
But still, like, not.
I just don't want to hear about. Like, they're not going to be good. To button this, Chris Long had a theory on his show, which was that they're trying to suck so that they fire Daboll and hire Belichick next year. What do you think of that? Pretty good take. I heard that one. It was like, Chris Long, nicely done.
Matt, you'll like this. Buddy of mine is a sports wager for a living. A guy I work with on radio, and he sends me his picks. And if I don't put him in immediately, the line moves like a lot. He just gave me Mavs money line for Wednesday. I just put it in immediately.
Interesting.
They're going to win Wednesday.
Well, I guess Kristaps Porzingis is out.
They're not like bad enough to get swept, essentially, which is what would happen if they lost Game 3.
Yeah.
They're probably not, but Boston's not going to lose 4 out of 5 either.
Yeah, Boston likes to take their foot off the gas.
And I have a Mavs future that I'm going to get off. I think in Game 3 if I'll make enough. Hopefully, if Mavs win on the money line to get off that wager. But NBA wagering's been good the first 2 games of the series.
Well, we've got a few minutes left in our NFL show.
Oh, okay.
So
I also talk basketball, guys.
He talks basketball.
You're listening to this. And baseball.
Can I just run some stuff by you?
Yeah, please.
All right. So here's some stuff. One thing I don't think we're talking about enough are these wacky new kickoffs. So
no one knows what they are.
So
one person knows.
I read this story about
Sam Schwartzstein. He's the only person that understands.
I don't think people are. This is a June story. Like, this is what we should be talking about now. There's this. Justin Tucker said, I think sort of jokingly, that he's been adding weight because he's going to be involved in some tackles, and so he's doing the kickoffs. And I was like, this is dumb. Like, this is a stupid story. And then I actually looked into it a bit. Every kickoff's going to be different next season. This is a huge change to the product of the game that in week 1, everyone's going to be like, huh?
Well, so let me pull it up right here. The Chiefs, Dave Tobe, the special teams coordinator, said they might have Justin Reed do kickoffs because,
right.
But here's
so they can have an extra tackler. Like, this is a huge change.
So Sam Schwartzstein, who basically invented this kickoff when he was with the XFL, he mentioned that they're going. The kickoff is a little bit different than the XFL one because of the kicker. I guess is not here. Here's right here. In the XFL, the kicker had no restrictions on where they could run to. In the NFL, the kicker cannot cross the 50 till the ball's caught. So it's probably pretty unlikely they're going to make a lot of tackles if they can't cross the 50 till the ball's caught. But they're going to be in more than they have been previously.
I mean, the fact is, like, I saw Dean Blandino explain it, and he said something like there were 12 kickoffs in the Super Bowl, and 11 of them, the ball just went through the end zone with no effect. And I think that the NFL is basically just like, they did this with extra points. They're like, well, the extra points just going in all the time. Let's make it a little spicy. And now they're doing it with kickoffs, and I just don't think people are aware of it. There's going to be fantasy impact. There's going to be random injuries that happen out of this.
We're also probably going to have higher scoring games.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, but it's a huge change, and people aren't ready for it.
I don't think people even know what it is yet. That's partly why as well.
Yeah. Here's another one.
What?
What's going on in Kansas City? Like, just seems like there's a lot of weird stuff happening.
Three-time champs.
The 3-time champs. There's some stuff going on.
It's weird, right?
And one of the things that's happening is, like, I all of a sudden am wondering if like Hollywood Brown is one of their 5 most important players. Like there is a lot of stuff going on the offensive side of the ball. There was the unfortunate incident with the health issue with the guy on the defensive line whose name I'm forgetting, but there just seems like there's a lot happening there right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's obviously the Rashee Rice incident, and they had a couple of players arrested for possession. Well, this is the thing when you kind of live in a place like I'm near South Carolina where I live in Charlotte. Your states have different laws. So, like I think it was they were allowed to smoke in Kansas but not in Missouri, and they were in the wrong state when they got pulled over, and like that, that busted them essentially, which isn't that to me that great of a deal. That we should. It's not part of the rundown, but like, come on, are we arresting people for possession of marijuana now, like in 2024?
Right. That is, I mean, that's fair.
So, I also think, Matt, that when you win a lot of attention is given to your franchise, and so you're always going to hear more about them than other ones. My wife is FaceTiming me. Should I answer her during the podcast, even though I told her I was working?
Sure.
No, just like, hey, hon. No, I think people understand and look into more things that happen when you win, and we get more information on these teams than ever before. Like if two, what's like the two Cardinals players got arrested for possession, you wouldn't even make the news,
right?
But it's the Chiefs, so we hear about it.
Sure, I guess so. But yeah, I'm really curious who's what that offense is gonna look like come next year, because Travis Kelce's just another year older and another year more famous. So I'm wondering like who else is going to get some of those targets.
It has that feeling of like when this run is over, whatever this run, like it does feel like there could be like a steep decline quickly.
Yeah.
But this might be 10 more years so that happens.
Yeah, and it could. I mean, Mahomes is just raises your floor.
Yeah.
I've got 2 more things.
Okay.
Here's the first one. We're about to be talking about $50 million quarterback Trevor Lawrence. He's up for an extension coming up this year.
And Tua's
not going to be worth it. We can have that conversation will be interesting. Trevor Lawrence to me is actually interesting because he could. It just doesn't feel like he's sticking around. Hey, there's Geoff. Doesn't feel like he's sticking around in Jacksonville to me.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Does it to you?
How do you feel about Brock Purdy, $50 million quarterback?
Ooh, that's maybe a better one.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a great question.
He'd be up after the season.
I think that's a great question. I don't think you can I don't think the rest of their roster can withstand that.
No, probably not.
But that's a better one.
Man, interesting. Jacksonville. They were so disappointing last half of the season last year. I think Doug Pearson's a good coach, but they got to figure out like how to get the most out of Trevor Lawrence. He that was year 3 last year, right, for him?
Yeah.
You typically want to see an ascension, right? In year 3, he
no, it's year 4, right? He was the 20 draft.
The point is like you want to see because Urban his first year.
Yeah, 20 draft.
Doug, yeah, okay. It's alarming that you saw a backslide in year 4.
I don't know. I'm curious to see if he's going to become, if he's going to take that leap. He's somebody that I think we aren't talking about enough in terms of
Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's in that $50 million deal.
All right, here's my last one.
Oh, here we go.
When should I be concerned about how many times I watch Jaden Daniels throw into a net and still get excited? Every day on Elon's Majestic app, I am fed another throw of Jaden Daniels to a net, sometimes in the rain. Oh, the rain ones were nice. Or like he's doing the little drill where he does the feet and then he plants and he just fires. And I'm like, this might be the best quarterback of all time.
This is coming from a Commanders fan who
I have hope, Geoff.
In his life has seen 1.5 years of RG3 be good.
Less than that.
And
some nice Mark Brunell games.
Too young for Doug Williams, probably.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, little Mark Rippon.
That's like the end of the conversation.
My first memory is my dad. Literally, my first memory is my dad yelling at Mark Rippon after he fell off a cliff after winning the Super Bowl.
And that's your.
I got hope, buddy. It's not great.
How is it going to affect your wagers this year?
Well, probably, honestly.
You in Washington like playoffs?
I don't. Well, maybe we can save this for our millions of hours we're going to need to fill over the next few months. But what that division is looking a little dicey. We just mentioned the team I won't be speaking about again until August. And Dallas and Philly have a little bit of a stink
We
on
might just
them.
skip them in August anyways.
That's fine. They're if you didn't play for them, I don't think we would speak about them.
Except taking Singletary's under.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm getting hopeful, buddy.
Anything else?
I don't know.
We hit football. Any hardcore basketball takes you got? Anything on Hurley and the Lakers?
Nope.
No.
I talked to a sleep trainer today.
Oh, for the baby.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty wiped out.
Sleep trainer is important.
Yeah.
That's the only advice I give any new parent is if you can afford someone to help sleep train your kid, you should pay
Not
for
cheap.
that.
Not cheap.
Oh no, but
Not a cheap thing.
no, but you get to sleep,
Worth it.
and then your kid will then sleep. Like my kids are just still excellent sleepers.
It's time, buddy. I
With
won't
6
remember
months?
this tomorrow. 7. And we were really on a good path.
I know, I
And then
thought
we
you were,
started
yeah.
solids, and then it kind of fell apart. And my
So-
guys partying in the middle of the night every night.
One of my favorite parent things I think now when I see kids around your age start having solid food is like with the first kid, you as a parent, I think I've told you this before, right? You like try to do like
I know where you're going.
organic, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my own
We
food.
never did that.
And I see people on Instagram do that all the time. I'm like, that's gonna last 4 days.
Yeah.
And
No,
after like 4 days, you're like, what?
I don't make my own dinner. I'm not making his.
You're just like, I don't have time for this. They don't eat any of this crap anyways.
Yeah, it gets on the floor.
Gerbers, here you go.
Yeah,
Like
100%. It's fine.
We every first time parent I see is just if you're out there a first time parent, congratulations. Don't waste your time with that. Just go buy the baby food. Baby
Yeah.
formula.
Yeah. You're just, every free minute that you can get is worth it.
I'm sorry the backslide.
Yeah. That's all right. I won't remember this happened tomorrow, but that's just kind of how it goes. Today I was on the highway and I was like, how long have I been driving? That happened.
The benefit
Is that good?
of Matt's sleep deprivation is my ability to text him very early on the East Coast. And
I don't respond to most of them because I'm like,
Matt just sends heart, mostly about politics and convictions.
yeah.
And other.
Maybe we should have a side podcast on Threads
don't-
that's just about the election.
I don't think people are going to like.
Live on Threads.
I think half the country
Dozens of us.
is going to not like half of the opinions we have to say.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people do the political stuff, man. Like it is so like. It's just if you hit that for you on the Twitter, like you just move over like one step to for you.
Yeah.
It's just the politics on there is wild, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it.
Mine is just people making insane comments about Cameron Brink. That's what Elon thinks I'm most interested in.
You have sent me some of those.
I don't know why they keep getting fed to me.
You know what, Heel? She's my height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some people are into that, which respects. Shout out. No shame on this show.
And what's funny about Cam is like she's the best rookie, I think, so far this season. No one, and
LA Sparks.
and the Sabrina, not the
go.
Sabrina, the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese discussion has overshadowed her play
Yeah,
this
she's
year.
awesome.
She's great at Stanford. All right. I think we did it, buddy. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you whenever Hank writes on the schedule that we're going to do a show again. Have a great couple of weeks. Remember, in early August, we're going to start doing, or maybe July, we're starting doing our preview shows. We're going to cover
July.
all divisions. Also, I will probably add a little more college football in those previews, just for the fans, okay? We'll do some college football too. All right, guys, we'll talk to you then. Take care, everybody.